Greetings, theists and non-theists. I'm the Atheist Paladin. I want to talk about why I don't think I can be ever convinced of a sort of Abrahamic Christian Muslim God or whatever, and if even if that was even possible, why I would still not worship that God. And part of the reason I think I've already partly discussed this in a way. A couple years ago I made a video rambling of Beelzebub. I never got into making that into a series, but the basic point, at least of that first video, is that if you believe in the devil, and specifically also believe that he can actually deceive people in such a way, even if they're the most truth-seeking as possible, right? They always try to remove their biases and try to read out the false evidences, and they try to always get the right facts, and they can still be deceived. Then there is no guarantee of ever finding the truth, of you knowing that you're in the correct religion. And that sort of fact sort of makes Pascal's wager sort of impossible, because you never know that you're believing in the right religion. Because there's devils in every religion. There's devils in Shinto, there's devils in Buddhism, there's devils in Hinduism, there's of course devils in Islam, and of course there's devils in Christianity. There's devils everywhere, basically, in all religions. So if you're gonna go and point finger and say they're not correct because they're deceived by the devil, or their religion was created by the devil, then they can say the same thing about yours. Nobody is safe from this fact. And then we go into the fact that, let's face it, in most religions, especially in Christianity and Islam, you're judged according to what you believe. You are. That's what it all boils down to. You're judged on what you believe. You either believe that, Muhammad was the final prophet of the Abrahamic God, and his word is perfect, and the Quran is true or whatever, and you believe in, and as a Christian you believe that, Jesus Christ is the atonement for your sins. But if you don't believe that, then you're going to burn in hell. And this doesn't make any sense. It is not a moral system. And again, in a previous video, I've already stated that you can't control what you believe. What you believe is inevitably because you've reached certain conclusions with the evidences given. And again, if you combine that with the fact of a devil and jinn, and that the deception is going on, well, this God is definitely fucked up in the head. It most certainly is fucked up in the head if such a God exists, because he's not against the devil. Even if he kicks the devil's ass in the end, he's not against the devil. He's playing both freaking sides. So he lets the devil deceive you, no matter how truth-seeking you are, such as the case that I'm told every effing day on YouTube by Christians and Muslims. And then he's going to throw me in hell for eternity because somehow that's infinitely just or whatever. And I'm supposed to be okay with this? And you're supposed to be okay with this? How can you ever be okay with the suffering of another human being? even if it's finite. But it's infinite in this case. How can you be okay with that? The infinite suffering of human beings, based on an arbitrary fact to which they have no control? I'm sorry, but I can't choose to believe in a God. It's not possible. I could fake it. That's it. That's the best I can do. And if your God is able to be faked, then that only gives yet another reason why this God shouldn't be worshipped. Why should a God be worshipped, and yet he is not just, he is not kind, it doesn't make sense. So please, Christians, Muslims, please explain to me how this makes sense. That God, this all-powerful, quote-unquote God, all-knowing, and he actually cares for us, will somehow allow a devil to deceive us, and then judge us whether or not we actually bought that deception, even though we couldn't help it. Please explain to me, how does that make sense?